my channel. So today I thought I would do something a little bit different. I've never done this before, but we're going to look at an old video of mine. This is actually from 2023, December 2023. It was all of the brands that I wanted to try in 2024. And I wanted to see what I said. Have I tried the brands, and do I still want to try the brands? I used to do these videos quite often, but I haven't done them obviously in over a year. And I thought it'd just be interesting to see if my tastes have changed, if they are still on my radar, if there's still brands that are, you know, being hyped, spoken about, or maybe they've kind of like gone downhill. Who knows? I have not seen this video in a very long time, so I don't even know what I said. I don't remember the brands that are in this list, so my reaction is going to be pretty instant. I'm going to screen record on my phone. I don't usually do this, so bear with me. But yeah, we are going to see if any of these brands are brands that I still want to try or I have tried. Okay, so I did post this in Christmas.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
Oh,
so
wow.
my jiggle today
The
is
red
I'm wearing a
lips.
jiggly Christmas jumper. I'm trying to wear a Christmas jumper every day or every other day, but I am running out. I didn't really
It's so
get
awkward
so
watching
many,
yourself
but I
back
also don't
from
wanna wear
years
it
ago.
every single day. But anyway, welcome. So today is just going to be a sit down and talk.
Okay, wait, so this is makeup brands I want to try in 2023. So I actually filmed this 2 years ago. I thought this was for 2024. This is for 2023. Okay, so are these going to be relevant? Who knows? Okay, so let's
I'm
get
going to talk to you about the 10 brands that I would like to try in this upcoming year. Whether I get to it or not, that is a different story, but they are just 10 different brands that I've had my eye on for a little bit, and for whatever reason, whether it's an eyeshadow palette or just people just rave about them, or I'm just kind of curious, they are on my list. So most of them are indie brands, so it seems to be that I want to venture out into indie makeup and indie eyeshadow.
Well, I have. I mean, I've been trying a lot of indie eyeshadow, so it's very interesting that I've said that. So I guess let's see if any, I don't remember what I wanted to try. So this is going to be interesting.
Which is fine. I mean, that is exciting to me. And it always looks so gorgeous. I did try the Pastel Roses.
Gorgeous.
And I do understand
Pastel Roses.
why people
Okay.
collect single shadows.
What I will say about the Pastel Roses, I've been pretty quiet about them. I know a lot of people love them and they've been hyping them up and they've been releasing a lot of eyeshadow palettes, and I haven't tried them in a really long time. So I don't know if their formula has changed at all. But from what I have some single shadows from Pastel Roses. The shades themselves are beautiful and they do look stunning on the eyes. What I do not like is the smell. They smell really, really, really strong. And they've always been like that. So they've always had a weird smell to them. And other shades that I have from other brands do not smell that way. So for me personally, it's just put me off buying any more from them because of this pungent smell that they have, which it might just be like I got a bad batch. I don't really know. But I've never spoken about that. I have seen one other person mention that the smell from Pastel Roses. I don't know if it's a thing. Let me know if you've tried Pastel Roses. Do you feel that way? Because that's like the one thing I don't really like. And their shades are ultra chunky. Also, the pans that I received have become rusty. So I don't know. I just think like the quality of it is not my preference. I much prefer other brands that I have tried since trying Pastel Roses. But again, it's been several years, obviously, since I have bought from them. So maybe it's changed.
Chromes, duochromes, whatever. Just the beautiful eyeshadow that you can get from these brands.
What am I wearing this? I like this eyeshadow. Oh, what am I doing? No, wait, I'm trying to.
So,
what is
let's
this?
just go through it. I don't want to be a super long video because my throat is a little bit scratched today. But let's start.
Why can't I click on?
I do have some earrings on. You might see these in. It's actually not an indie brand. It is much more mainstream. It's been around for a few years now, and it is Rare Beauty. Now,
Rare Beauty.
I have been holding off on buying anything from Rare.
Okay, so Rare Beauty made it to the list. I still have not tried Rare Beauty. Let's see what I say.
Simply because a lot of the initial products were very creamy, and I wasn't a fan of how the eyeshadow palettes looked.
True.
However, she has just released those beautiful highlighters, and they look...
Okay, yeah, so I would definitely still like to try these highlighters. The one thing that I really, really want to try from Rare Beauty at this point in my life is her concealer that is like that really, really light concealer with the little like bowl tip. I would buy that, but it is expensive, and I think Revolution, like Makeup Revolution, has since released their own dupe of it, so I would be interested in trying that just simply because I've had issues with concealer and my under eyes and trying to find the best product. So for me personally, that is the really one and only product that I am very, very interested in trying from Rare Beauty, but the highlighters always did look very pretty.
Stunning, 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 stunning. So I have my eye on Rare Beauty. I've had for a long time. It's just everything is either liquid form or cream form.
I will also, I know I keep stopping this, but I also want to just mention, if I could get Rare Beauty easily, I probably would have tried it, but it's not in stores anywhere I live. And I've been in Portugal. Obviously, I filmed this in the same room that I'm in now. So I've been in Portugal this whole time. If I wanted to buy from Rare Beauty, I would have to buy online. I can't even get it from Sephora, Portugal, because I have to get it in store. And the only stores that have Rare Beauty are down in Lisbon, which is like an hour away. And obviously, I don't want to go to a capital city to get just one makeup brand. It's just not something that I'm going to do. So the fact that I can't buy it in store or online easily, at least where I am, if I'm going to buy it online, it's going to cost me a little bit more money. And I don't know, I kind of just want to see things in person when it comes to more expensive makeup. So that's another reason why I haven't tried it. It's just not super accessible to me as a brand.
For the most part, and I just haven't been wanting to try it, and I also just haven't tried any of their complexion items, let's be honest. And it's a little bit pricey, so it's just like, oh,
it is pricey.
But those highlighters do look really, really beautiful, and I'm not going to go out and buy any, but I am curious to see what she launches next, because maybe she's going to launch something a little bit different in the new year. Because those are quite different to obviously the cream blushes that she had and everything like that.
Okay, I'm skipping because I'm talking too much.
They just have the most beauty in the new year. So that one I've got my eye on. Another one I've mentioned before, but it is Give Me Glow. They just have the most beautiful...
Are Give Me Glow still a thing? I feel like I saw them a lot more a few years ago. I don't really see many people talk about them. This is another one where it's a US brand, and I'm not going to want to buy from them unless they're on Monolith, unless they're releasing some new stuff. So this is definitely not a brand that is on my radar anymore, just because I don't really see them anymore. I don't really, like, they came out with some gorgeous palettes a few years ago, and I was very envious of other people having them, but they're not a brand that I really think about anymore. What about you? Do you think about Give Me Glow? Give Me Glow? Give Me Glow. Oh my god.
Single shadows. They also have really beautiful palettes that are just pre-made.
Yes,
and
they do.
I have been so close to buying a lot of palettes from them, but I keep stopping myself, and I don't know why I do. It might be the fact that I'm worried that it will get stuck in customs, and then I will have to, I'm smacking my face, it will get stuck in customs, I'll have to pay a lot of money to get it out of customs, and yeah, paying for the shipping and all that will be a little bit pricey. It's not as if I live in the US, so it will be quite hard for me to get my hands on anything from Give Me Glow, but I am very curious. I have my reservations because some of the palettes didn't look too, for that reason, yeah. I want to try Give Me Glow. It would really just be to try their single shadows. I think they have some highlighters, but I'm not really interested in that. Okay, next up on the list is also another hard one for me to get my hands on, because I'm not even sure that they ship to Portugal. So if they don't, I might not even be able to. But I would love to try Sydney Grace shadows, because everybody raves about them.
Okay, so I have a story about Sydney Grace. So this is interesting that this is a brand that I mentioned. I've seen a lot of people love Sydney Grace formula and still do to this day. They have been on Monolith, and just recently I did see some eyeshadow palettes that were available on Monolith, but they were old eyeshadow palettes, and I think now they're out of stock. So I don't know if they will have more on Monolith, but Monolith is a EU retail, like online retail store that acquires a lot of non-EU indie makeup brands, and so it's easy for us EU girlies or boys, whatever, to buy makeup from them. And so it's been very good for me to discover that a few years ago. Some of you mentioned that I should look at it, and then since I have, I bought quite a lot of indie makeup from there. It is a brand that I guess was curious because I kept seeing people talk about it. I also had a subscriber of mine, I don't know if you still watch my videos, but she wanted to send me a palette, and she apparently did, but it did, I never received it. I gave her a UK address. It was like a UK address that is like a forwarding address that would have sent to my parents. It was never received, so I don't know what happened with that. She also disappeared, so I don't really know if she's still around, but it seemed a bit fishy to me at the end of the day. So anyway, I was going to try it at some point, but I didn't. Is it still on my radar? I think if they come to Monolith again with maybe new eyeshadow palettes, yeah, I mean, if it's a color story that I would really love, I would be open to trying it, but I don't think it's, if I were to do this list again, is it like one of the top brands that I really want to try? No, it's not. But again, if I lived in the US, I probably, oops, sorry, you probably heard that. There was like somebody blowing their horn. If I lived in the US, then I probably would have tried it at some point now. It's just some of these brands that I'm talking about, I've seen other people talk about them, but since then I've realized that I can't buy and try every US indie makeup brand unless they're on Monolith. It's just too difficult for me.
And I watch a lot of US-based YouTubers.
There we go.
Beauty creators, and also on Instagram, and they just look really, really stunning. And I would love to try it. I honestly would. So I have FOMO. I'm envious that you can just go out and buy it. Obviously, you know, you have to pre-order, and there's, you know, a lot of even to pay for shipping. I might have like to try it if the opportunity arises, or if I do just do an order and it somehow magically appears, that would be great. Okay, next up is Glam Light. So yeah, I'm just going through them.
Glam Light, you know what? I had a feeling this was going to happen. I had a feeling that all of the brands that I have in this video are going to be brands that a few years ago were, I personally feel like we're a little bit higher on my radar, and now they're just no longer. What I will say about Glam Light is obviously they just do IP releases, right? So some of them are really gimmicky, some of them are really silly. I think some of the packaging is really ugly. And then other times they release really interesting color stories and beautiful color stories, and I get FOMO, I get envious. I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. They are on Monolith, and there have been some times where I have wanted to purchase some of their items. One of the most recent ones is actually the Twilight palettes that they released. They have the Edward one, and then they have the werewolf guy. I can't remember his name. That palette, the werewolf one, looked so beautiful, and I almost got it. I really did. I almost got it like a month ago, and I didn't. I decided not to get it, and now it's out of stock. And I have since seen someone use it in a video, and it looks delicious. It looks like a palette that I would absolutely love, but I didn't get it. And now at this point, I don't think I would ever get it unless it came back to Monolith and maybe was like discounted. But Glam Light's another one where I can't get the brand. It's not accessible to me, so I'm not going to buy from them. I'm not going to try them really that easily unless there's suddenly a palette on Monolith and it just makes sense for me and it's the right time and it's not out of stock. You know, it's just one of those things where it's, again, if I were to put this list together, Glam Light would not make the list. So let me know if you want me to do another video where I go through all the brands now that I would like to try maybe in the future or that are on my radar. I was just curious to see if any of these would be on my radar, and so far, obviously I still know them, and so far I still haven't tried any of them, which is kind of interesting.
Glam Light, I have a little bit of hesitance with, because I think a lot of their palettes are quite kiddish. Like everybody said that
childish. I meant childish.
A lot of the palettes just don't scream luxury to me, or just any sort of A lot of the palettes are a little bit crash looking. Like for instance, they had the cereal one, which apparently was really good quality, but I just don't want a palette that looks like a box of cereal with a tiger on it. However, I have been eyeing for the longest time the ice cream palette, and I do think
that ice cream palette, oh my goodness, I think I still would want that. I think I still would want that palette. I think you can't get it anymore. That is one of the ones that got away, but I just loved the pastels and the colorful colors in there. But you know, at the end of the day, is it really that special, that palette? Maybe, maybe not, but it's just a palette that I definitely still think, like when I see that palette, I'm like, oh, if only, if only. So that, yeah, that one is still one that got away. Even though I never really had a chance to get it in the first place, it is one that I remember, obviously.
This year is the year, like 2023 is the year that I will finally get it, because the longer I wait, the more time will go, and then potentially it might get discontinued.
I didn't try it and it got discontinued. I'm a complete liar in this video. I didn't do it. 2023 was not the year I did it. Why not? Who knows?
And I don't know, they do come out with some, so I would probably not purchase any of those, but I definitely would get the ice cream palette. I just think, yes, I would want to get that one. So that's definitely on my list, my wish list, and my bucket list, and likely it will happen. That's another one that I've had items in the basket, and then right at the end I'm like, no, I won't do it, I won't do it. So that's good. I mean, I've stopped myself from buying a lot of things. I could have gone really crazy this year, so I have actually stopped. I do a lot of window shopping, but online, and it actually does tend to help me. I have baskets open with every website. But you know what? I put it in the basket, I leave it, I come back the next day and I'm like, no, I don't want to buy that. And if I do, then I do. But yeah, that is another brand that I would like to try in 2023 if I can. If, you know, I can't try all of them, it would just cost too much. Okay, speaking of costing too much, this one would be pricey. This is also not an indie brand, more mainstream, but it's not really mainstream where I am. I have not seen this brand anywhere, and even online, it's a little bit tricky to get it, especially in Portugal, and it's Patrick Tar. So I would love.
Okay, so I really did like the two palettes that he came out with. There was the one that was way more neutral, and then the one that was a little bit more pinky mauve. They are still palettes that when I see them, they look very, very pretty, but I have since heard that a lot of them get mold. And you know me, you know what climate I live in. I already have issue with mold in palettes anyway. I'm not going to buy from a brand that I know people have had issues with the formula not lasting. So that in itself has put me off buying. I have still not tried Patrick Tar, not even like any of like the face products or anything like that. It's still expensive. I can buy from them directly online, but I just haven't. Again, they might be in the Sephora Portugal, but no, actually, I don't think they are. Again, this is more of like a US mainstream brand that you get in like your Ultas and your Sephoras, but it's not that popular in Europe, at least where I am. It really isn't.
To try one of the major dimension palettes, or both of them. I mean, let's be real. I'm kind of torn, because obviously you have the first one, which is very neutral leaning, and then you have the second one, which is more pinky mauvey. And sometimes throughout the year, I just want my neutrals. Sometimes I go for pinky mauvey. Sometimes I want neither. So it is a palette that I would spend a lot of money on and then might regret it. So there's that little, if, you know, sort of, I don't know, something that's holding me back. They also have, you know, 2 cream shadows in the palette as well, which I don't know. They've got all those beautiful cheek ones. Yeah, moving on. So number 6 is Glam Shop. So I have
tried Glam Shop. Obviously, I have a lot of Glam Shop palettes, so it's nice that I finally got to a brand on this list that I actually have tried. Maybe it was this year where I did buy from Glam Shop, but the first thing that I bought from them was their like 70s collection. It was quite a big order where I got 3 palettes. I also got the lip oil that I have just recently decluttered, but the 3 palettes are still in my collection. I really, really love them. I really do like Glam Shop. I actually am wearing their foundation today, and I'm also wearing, I didn't know this was gonna happen, I'm also wearing the Tinted Glossy lip balm today as well. So Glam Shop, I'm very, very pleased with. I have since obviously from the first time I purchased from them. I bought more stuff. I tried more stuff in December of this year, and I have another new palette. So yeah, love the eyeshadow. I think in terms of like eyeshadow formula and quality is very, very good. And you can't really go wrong. So just pick a palette that you really like the color story, or they also sell a lot of singles as well. They have really nice chunky metallics. They have chunky little duochromes. They are not, like, I would say if you don't want like a lot of fallout, or you don't like the chunky shimmer metallic shades, maybe stay away from them, because I have noticed that most of their shadows are like that. Their mattes are great, but in terms of the actual shimmer formula, you know, it's mostly all the chunky stuff, which is fine. But if you don't like that, maybe you won't like them that much. But from my experience, most of all of the shimmers that I have in all of those palettes are chunky, metallic, flaky, gorgeous shades, but they are very chunky. So I will give them that. But I've tried this brand, so we have found a brand that I have tried.
Following Glam Shop for a while on Instagram, I see some people have a lot of their eyeshadow palettes, and it is a Polish brand, so I wouldn't have to worry about customs, which is really, really nice to hear. I never thought I would like be so happy about not having to pay customs. All right, moving on, we have Adept Cosmetics. So
okay, Adept. I've been so close to buying from Adept, even their newest palette they came out with, which was the emo palette. And the Minka one, I just thought, you know, every release that they have is very, very, very pretty, but it's so expensive. Oh my gosh. I can't talk myself into buying and trying them unless they have a massive sale. They're on Monolith, so that's kind of why I was thinking of buying those. But I just personally can't bring myself to spend, I think it's like 70 euros or a palette. Some of them are a little bit more expensive than that. So expensive. The most I've spent a lot of money on palettes due to customs and all that crap and stuff, but the most I've ever spent on an actual physical palette is probably Natasha Denona. And I think I've told myself I'm never doing that again, because it's eyeshadow. Like, I don't want to spend that much money on eyeshadow. I'd much rather buy 2 palettes for the price of one. I don't know why, but I would still like to try Adept, but I also kind of, I'm of the opinion that if it's going to be that expensive, it has to be out of this world. And I think I would ultimately find it upsetting to use, because I would know how expensive it is, and I would probably not like it as much as like my 40 euro palettes. You know what I mean? I think I would be, you know, it's like double the price of certain palettes, and it has to be just like my favorite brand of all time. And I don't know if it's going to be, and I can't swatch it in stores. I can't like try the formula before buying it. So it's definitely like a shot in the dark. If I suddenly become a millionaire overnight, or I'm feeling bougie and I just want to spend money on it, fine. But I think at this point, there hasn't been one of their palettes where I absolutely have to buy it. Like, the color story just sings to me. They've always been very pretty, and I've always been like, ooh, that looks so nice. But I haven't ever really felt that they've released a color story that is just 100% me, which I guess is a good thing in the way, because then I can save my money.
They have released some absolutely stunning palettes. I wouldn't know which one to try, if I'm completely honest. Probably the Heather Austin one, although I think there was another one that was really, really beautiful. So that is one that I have my eye on as well. Oh, I just remembered, I actually have 11 brands I'm going to be talking about. So I'm going to say this is 11 brands because I'm extra, but I just remembered another one right now. But yeah, I think Adept Cosmetics, they said that, then yeah, I might go for it. Number 7 is Cosmic Brushes. So they came...
Cosmic Brushes, aka Cosmic Beauty. So obviously I've tried them since then, so that is cool that there's another brand here that I have tried. I now have 4 palettes from them, so I've tried them quite a bit. I haven't tried anything else, just the palettes. And yeah, oh no, I have brushes. I have some Cosmic Beauty, or these, yeah, this is Cosmic Brushes right here. I did get a set of the brushes when I bought one of the palettes. Really love this brand. I have a thing about them always having a black matte shade in the palette. It always breaks on me. One of you mentioned that it's because it's right next to the magnet in the palette, which makes complete sense. Just don't put the black in there, because I have really kind of ruined a lot of clothing because of it, and it just gets everywhere and I've had to scrape out. Like, not every palette needs a black matte. I have so many now, I don't need more. So I'm hoping that in their next releases, they just don't do that. If they do, honestly, it might put me off buying from them again, because it's getting to the point where I'm getting a little bit annoyed. But their shades are really pretty. The formula is great. I don't have any negative thing to say about cosmetic brushes, honestly, or beauty, whatever it is. So I'm happy that I said I was going to try them, and I did, and I like them.
Out of nowhere this year with their Serenity palette, and it kind of stunned everybody. Just watching all the reviews, everybody raved about the palette, and it was out of stock for the longest time. I did not pick it up. When they restocked. I have actually seen that it is in stock.
I wonder if after filming this, I went and bought it, because I do have the Serenity palette. It is the first palette that I bought from Cosmic Beauty. So I'm wondering if, I'm saying now it came back in stock, I'm wondering if I just went and bought it. I don't quite remember when I got the palette, but I know it was the first one that I tried, and I've gotten quite a lot of use out of it recently, which I'm happy about. But I really do love that palette. It's beautiful.
So I could just go out and buy it. It is another one where I don't know what the shipping would be like. I don't know.
So I did originally buy from them directly, and they did get stuck in customs. I had to pay extra, but they're on Monolith now. So if you're in the EU and you want to buy from Cosmic Beauty, they do release their palettes on Monolith. Perfect. You don't need to pay extra. And obviously if you spend enough money on Monolith, you can get free shipping. So again, I love Monolith. Every brand should be on Monolith. It just makes life easier for us.
How easy that would all work out, to be honest. But the palette itself is, I think, only $20 or something like that. So it's shadows, blah, blah, blah. I need to be careful. I don't want to go out and buy lots and lots of dark leaning color stories. But just to let you know, that is something that I'm thinking of. Okay, what are we? Which one is this one? Oh, Cosmic Brushes was number 8. Okay, so we're moving on to number 9. All right, so number 9 is a brand that I think is, again, it was quite heavily saturated in the US if you got BoxyCharm, because I think a lot of palettes came in BoxyCharm, which is Ace Beauté or
Oh, wow. Okay, so this brand no longer exists, right? I think they went into foreclosure, or they have since gone. Ace Beauté, I did see a lot of people get Ace Beauté palettes. Even Sarah Rose talked about Ace Beauté quite a lot. And yeah, I think she was the one who mentioned that they were gone, right? So this is not even a brand that, of course, is not on my radar, because it's on nobody's radar. But interesting how just in 2 years, a brand that I wanted to try, I don't even think about it anymore, because it's gone. You know, obviously same thing happened with BH Cosmetics. By this point that I was doing this, though, I already had BH Cosmetics. I already tried it. But, you know, it just kind of shows you that makeup brands, you know, it's kind of tough to maintain relevancy and, you know, your profit margin. Like, do you have it? Like, I don't know what happened with Ace Beauté, but obviously even by being in the Ipsy subscription box, you know, they got a lot of exposure, but maybe they didn't really profit on any of that, potentially. I don't know. But this, kind of interesting that there's a brand here that nobody needs or wants because they can't. Sad.
I don't know how you say it, but it hasn't been something that I've, you know, gone and like pay for like a third-party service, and I'm not doing that. Went through adding to my basket or anything like that. But I do think that the palettes look really, really beautiful. So that is one that's on my radar. I would love to try it if I can. This is more like a wish list. It's not really a list that is realistic at this point, but it is a wish list. Okay, so moving on to number 10. Remember, we have 11 because I remembered one, but moving on to number 10 is Blend Bunny.
Ooh, okay, Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I would still like to try from Blend Bunny. I think if I put this list together again, it potentially could make it to the list. It wouldn't be like a priority, but it would probably be on the list because it's still really relevant. They're still releasing some gorgeous palettes. And I'm very curious about the color story, like the formula. What am I talking about? I'm very curious about the formula. The only reason, like there's been plenty, they are on Monolith, so I could buy from them and you know, I could have tried them by now for sure. I think the one thing that is putting me off is that their color stories are very dark. Like there's not one palette that I know of, unless it's like a monochromatic blue palette or purple palette. There's not one of their palettes that I have ever seen. Oh no, there is maybe one where it has like a lot of mint greens and it's very, like it's a weird one. I don't know. I just find a lot of their palettes very, very like dark leaning. Like the actual color story is really dark and vampy. Beautiful. I'm sure it would be really, really beautiful, but I want something that has a little bit more going for it, maybe a little bit lighter and brighter, especially if I'm trying the brand for the first time. I just find all of their palettes very dark. Also, I do not like the way that they lay out their palette, which I know is a smaller thing where, you know, I think most of them are magnetic, so I can probably rearrange everything, but then I don't know what the shade names are. That's more of a me thing, but I don't like the way that they're laid out. Like there's never been one palette from Blend Bunny that I've looked at and I have thought that is gorgeous. I've always looked at them and been like, that is pretty. I've seen swatches and a lot of people love them, but I don't think that there has been anyone that has been able to really persuade me to buy from Blend Bunny, which is a good thing, I guess. It's still one that's on my radar where if they do release a palette that is perfect for me, I would probably try it for sure because I like trying new brands. I like trying new eyeshadow makeup and stuff like that. And they've been around a long time where I know majority of people do love Blend Bunny, but it just isn't, there's just like no perfect palette out there for me, like from what I've seen. So yeah, it's kind of fun that this is on the list.
That is another one that's not easily accessible to me, but you get so...
It is easily accessible to me. Now, at the time that I'm filming this, I didn't know about Monolith, which is probably good because I would have bought all this stuff.
Many shades, and everybody raves about the quality and the formula. The only thing that I have against it is there hasn't been one single palette yet that I've been, oh my gosh, I have to have that palette. You know, there hasn't been one where I've been like, that is the perfect palette for me. I have to go and buy this. I have to figure out how to buy this.
It's funny how in 2 years, they still have not released a palette. They've released so many palettes. It's funny that in 2 years, they have not released a palette that is for me. That is interesting that I said the same thing now as I said 2 years ago.
However, it's on my radar because of what everyone says about the quality. I think it's not one of those expensive ones, but also not the cheapest. It's like sort of middle of the road. But again, yeah, that one is on my radar. I will only purchase from them if there is a amazing palette that I can't live without that comes out. But yeah, I'm watching them. I'm like, okay, let's see what else you have. Maybe there'll be something in the new year that will, you know, jump at me. But it is on my radar. And then number 11 is the one that I forgot, but I was trying to remember what it was before I filmed the video and I just could not remember the name, so I couldn't look it up. It's Glamatrix. I was even looking up like...
Glamatrix made the list 2 years ago. I have tried Glamatrix. I only have one palette. It is the Rich Romantic. I wonder if I talk about the new neutrals because I have bought the new release of it. It just only was shipped just a few days ago. I just got the confirmation email, so I obviously don't have it yet, but I will be trying the new release of the new neutrals palette soon. I'm sure that will get stuck in customs too, so I'm really dreading that. I probably should have waited for Monolith at this point, but I didn't want to. I'm wondering if I'm going to mention new neutrals because I still regret not getting the original one because I think the original one, the way that it was laid out was so perfect, and I know that this new one has more shades, but I don't think I need the extra shades. I just wanted the original and I should have got it and I didn't. But it's funny, it's on this list and I have since tried them. I love the formula. I love the Rich Romantic palette. It's one of my favorite palettes. I did a ranking of all my palettes in my collection and it made it to my top 5. So really love that palette and I love their formula. That's why I really want to go back to the original palette that I really, really desperately wanted from them. And they have released other palettes where I have been humming and ahhing about trying, but I still haven't like got them yet. But obviously they're on my radar because I've tried them, but it's cool that they were the last one that I spoke about. Honestly, if I redid this list now versus like how I feel about all of these, Glamatrix would have been like at the top of the list. I don't know if I did this as priority or not, maybe not, but Glamatrix would have been at the top, Cosmic Beauty would have been like second, you know, in terms of like my preference and things like that. But I put it at the last place, so I don't know. It's kind of funny that.
Australian indie brands that didn't pop up. So to my knowledge, it is an Australian indie brand. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they did come out with an absolutely stunner of a palette this year. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a neutral leaning palette. So beautiful, so beautiful. And I almost bought it. I put it in my basket. I was like, I don't care if this is from Australia. I gotta get this. And then I thought, no, hang on a minute. This is stupid. I have really bad luck with the customs here.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I was worried about customs, so that's fair enough. I'll stop the video now. But that was super, super interesting to see. Like a lot of those brands are not really like brands that I desperately want to try anymore. And actually only 3 of them that I mentioned I've actually tried. It was Glam Shop, Glamatrix, and Cosmic Beauty. The rest I haven't tried, and they're not really like brands that I would put at the top of the list, which is so crazy to me that in 2 years, not only do like the makeup scene can change so drastically as we know, but our preferences can change, or what's hyped can change, and brands might no longer exist like Ace Beauté. I mean, it's kind of sad, right? Like how things just shift around so fast. And that's also like another reason why I posted my video yesterday with my Shop My Stash and talking about, I hate talking about new releases and stuff, because if people are going to hype about new releases, who's to say that that brand is even going to exist in a year's time? You know, I can't be buying stuff from everybody all the time, all the new stuff, because, you know, you kind of have to like test it out and really like wait. Sometimes I like to wait a long time before I try a brand because I want to see what direction they go into. I still have yet not tried Rare Beauty. A, it's because it's not very easy to buy, but also B, there's not really been that many items that I really, really want to try, you know? So I don't know. I thought this was really interesting to see, just like a little look down memory lane, kind of just to see where the landscape of everything is. 2 years ago, these were definitely on my radar. Now they are not, but I'm also way more interested in other indie eyeshadow and brands out there. So let me know if you want me to put my next top 10 list, and I could try to put a list together. Obviously I'm trying not to buy any makeup at this point, but you know, I can still do like a wish list. So if that would be interesting to you, I can do that as a follow-up video. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.